Okay, here we are. This is 284, and definitely got some foundational issues underneath the piers. You can kind of hear the road noise behind me. This is the sidewalk, so the distance between here and here is pretty shallow. I'll get over here and get a little bit better. I mean, you've got a pretty shallow space between you and this major road, which is basically 4 lanes. That's Pensacola Christian's little ball field that they have. Looks like it's got a metal roof, brick, a lot of heart pine on the inside of it. Make a nice, eventually make a nice rental. New windows. I don't know that the roof was put on by a professional, but overall, this door seems like it's in fine shape. This is good. Lots of peeling paint here, which would not pass an FHA loan. Lots of peeling paint there. That's heart pine on the walls. So heart pine here, hardwood floors there. Where I first noticed an issue with this floor is, you may not be able to tell on the video, but if you look at the distance between there and that countertop, how crooked it is, it doesn't appear correct. So you got kitchen, laundry room. This is just another like room off the back. That is like a planter of some kind, probably meant during this time frame they would divide rooms with a planter. So that's probably originally was a planter. It's, you know, lots of heart pine on the wall. That was real popular. Various miscellaneous holes. Bathroom. This bathroom, I noticed that the potty is kiltered. It's not in there straight. So you kind of, when you come into this floor, it feels like it's slanting down a little bit. And then you come in here and it feels pretty decently straight. This potty's a little kiltered. You don't feel as much in this bathroom as you do it in the other one. So it does feel like this one, and it doesn't have any smells. I mean, I think that's plaster. I'm pretty sure we got plaster instead of sheetrock in most places. You can kind of see that pipe that's sticking out of the wall. That's going to be galvanized. So most of the plumbing is probably going to be galvanized, and then your waste plumbing is going to be your cast iron. So probably some mix of your, that doesn't look good. So it looks like to me this, my guess, it doesn't look like mildew or mold. It almost looks like fire. Smoke damage in here. See, that was the original roof. Those little 12 by 12 foam tiles? That's what they used in these houses during their time when they built these. Looks like to me the electrical's original, which would need a total change out because you got fuses in here. Sorry about there's really no electrical in here. They don't have anything turned on. Doors are toast. Another closet. Like right here, right there's a hump in the floor. So I think what's happening is the pier that's holding the floor up has sunk somewhere. and it's making the floor kind of do this weird surfboard wonky thing. Again, another bedroom. We turned the light on, but I'm not getting any lights. So that feels like sheetrock to me on these walls, but hard to tell. Some walls are going to be sheetrock. That's obviously sheetrock. And see how the plug only has 2 plugs in it? That's telling you that there's probably copper wiring, but it's only 2 wire. You should have 3. Well, today's code is 3. Not that you should have 3, but today's code says you should have 3. This floor looks pretty level here, but when you get to here, into here, you get cracking in this tile, and you get over here and it gives. So this is all rotten. At least this is in front of this old sink. So I mean, you know, you'd have to come in here and pull all of this and basically just put it back together. But this one, I didn't notice this when I originally walked through. Oh, they screwed it shut. Yeah, it's screwed shut. So this ceiling is the same way. See that foamy tile? I'm not sure you can see it. Maybe I need to face the other way. You can kind of see the tiles. They're just screwed right to the rafters and ceiling joists, and then they're hanging there, and then they probably put sheetrock over top of that in the rest of the house, like over here. That probably still has them there. They're just over top of. At least that's how they usually do it. Yeah, that's a planter. So this room, totally separate. That thing is probably where all that smoke came from the probably ceiling, probably water damage from before they replaced the roof, maybe. This tile is all cracked up also, so I'm not really sure. Not sure how they did it. It appears pretty level. Little wavy, but mostly level here. So, not too bad. In this room. This room appears, if you can really, where I can see it, it looks like it comes up and then it dips down. So probably the high point is about right there is the high point. This thing looks really unlevel, but I don't know why. Kitchen feels unlevel, feels like it's low here, and it feels like it's higher in the middle. Again, you got yeah, so it looks like to me you've got galvanized piping for your feed piping. There's a little bit of PVC there. This room looks like the door leaked. So because we had leakage in the door, this is all rotten. So you can kind of see how bad this is. This is it's not so bad here. That's not too bad. A lot of peeling paint. That's bad. New water heater, definitely. A lot of peeling paint in here. And this is going to be lead paint. So it's all going to have to be mediated in some way, shape, or form. But you can see over here, where you can see down into the floor, and my foot, it just goes right down into the crawl space. This part's rotten. Bottom of the door's rotten. But it probably mostly happened from that leaking and running back this way would be my guess. Air conditioning system. It's running as we speak. So I don't think it's dead. I think it's actually working. But the numbers are mostly worn off on it. So I don't know that I can read that serial number to give you a date off of it. And it doesn't, the tape is not giving me any indication either. Oh, electrical fuses, which is bad, which is why I'm saying really the electrical is a whole rewire on this one. Insurance is really going to have a problem with this, I think. I'm not saying they wouldn't insure it, but they probably wouldn't like it, which means they charge you extra. Again, I'm seeing cast iron in your waste plumbing, and I'm seeing galvanized behind your, galvanized feeding your feed piping, which is rife for rusting. You get a lot of rusting in that. So that probably interconnects. You were asking something about the porch. That probably interconnects with the crawl space. It may or may not, but it would come through the inside of that into here. Obviously, you can see a lot of outside work that needs to be done. Dryer vent, Cox, electrical. Your electrical is just really weak. Sorry, I'm not showing you. The electrical wire here is really small for this size panel for today. So I would definitely recommend access for critters to go in and out of the attic. That's not supported correctly. That's not right there. You can see crawl space vent. I was gonna go in your crawl space and it's screwed shut. So kind of like the attic is screwed shut, this is screwed shut. So if you guys do come to look at this, we'll need to bring a screw gun to undo the screws. That's your access right there. But I mean, I can tell you, you're gonna find cast iron. You're gonna find galvanized for the feed, because I can see it on the inside. So that's the main thing I'm looking for when I'm looking underneath the house. That, and I'm looking for wood rot and floor joists and that kind of thing. But I mean, it looks like they got good ventilation. So good ventilation usually equates to a relatively dry crawl space, unless this thing is sitting in a bowl where water would collect here and come inside. Again, you can see that peeling paint here. That would all have to be dealt with for sure. Good sized backyard. Trees just need to be trimmed, but they do overhang the house quite a bit. Never good, this big hump mound right here. As water rushes off the roof, it'll want to go back like this into the house. This dirt mounds up, so you'd want to clean this back out and get it away from the house, so the water wants to drain away from the house for the crawl space. Yeah, there is a chain link fence right about here that goes into the neighbor's yard, I think. If I can tell, if I'm looking right. Because there's a shed right here in the bushes. I'll send this to you, and then you guys can chit-chat me back and then ask questions. Ask any questions you might have that maybe I missed detail-wise. But good location, but really close to the road. I mean, that's my car. I drive a Prius. And it is basically sitting right off of the sidewalk, and it's running up against this porch. If that gives you any perspective as to how close this house is to Airport Boulevard. But I like the location. All right, talk to you in a bit.